everyone. We've got a little treat for you this week. We've pulled together some of our funniest clips from across our episodes. Enjoy the first half of this supersized compilation here. Then head over to Patreon to hear part 2. That's at patreon.com/broadsandbooksproductions. That link is also in the show notes. Enjoy. Top Terminator 2, Aaron.
Oh, I will.
Oh, shit.
With a little treat that I ate my heart out in 1991.
Okay.
Called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Pies.
Oh, wow. This is a
Feast your
lovely...
eyes.
God.
This is a flashback because we talked about this on Broads and Books years ago.
Yes, we did.
And I believe you provided this picture, and this looks
Bad. It
positively
looks bad.
disgusting.
Mhm.
I will post on socials, but it's literally like Ninja Turtle green pie. And then there's what they call vanilla pudding. I don't want to add the G because there's not really a G. So
They
back
probably,
in
I mean, the FDA was probably like, well, you can't call it pudding. It's not pudding.
Right.
That's probably
You're
just spell it wrong.
absolutely right. So back in the 1980s, Hostess sold a line of pudding pies. It had the G on it before. And they were mainly like, and fruit pies that included flavors like apple and cherry, you know, the traditional. Well, then they got smart and they decided, because they went away for a while, they were going to come back, but with the best cross promotion they've ever had for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. They were going to call them Turtle Pies. And when they released them, they're a vibrant green colored deep fried crust that has icing over it. And in the middle, again, is vanilla pudding.
Whoa.
The outer packaging featured 4 designs, one for each of the turtles.
Oh, yeah.
And the pies were discontinued the same year that they were released, since they were
Because
only
they had
meant
lead
to
in
be,
it?
Probably.
Okay.
They were,
They were only ever meant to be a limited.
This was
release.
actual paint
Yeah.
instead of icing?
I'm thinking that they knew, like, hey, we can only do this for approximately 8
Right.
months, and then
Before they
people
catch
will
on.
get sick.
Before the,
so,
the side effects show up.
Yeah.
exactly.
That vanilla pudding power is going to come back to bite them.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. But I discovered in my research, because I remember, I have such a visceral memory of these, Jesus, that I mean, it's getting me too excited to even
It's so
talk about
excited!
it. That I remember eating these, and when I look at it now, I don't know how.
Yeah.
But I was obsessed, and I was so sad when they went away. And I don't, we didn't really have like the evolution of the internet that we have now, all of that. So there was really, I didn't understand. There was no way to understand why they weren't in
Oh
stores
my God, it
anymore.
was taken away from you, and it was like,
Yes, and I
So
loved
sad.
it so much. And I found out that I'm not the only one,
oh.
because someone created an Instagram account dedicated to the pies in 2017. Shares the history, shows off plenty of merchandise and promotional materials. There's also an activechange.org petition that currently has over 2,000 signatures to bring them back.
Change.org? Isn't that supposed to be like government stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some artists.
The government should be involved.
You're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
You're right. That's the only way we're going to get this done, Amy, at the highest level.
Get Joni Ernst on it.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Shit. I wouldn't even take
Marjorie
a turtle
Taylor
pie.
Greene.
Oh, no. If they're involved, I can't eat the pies. God damn it. We ought to be very careful about who we get attached to this project. Can I get Cory Booker?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Artists have made different renditions of it. It's even appeared in an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh.
But in addition to this wonderful pie that you got, there was also like stickers or commemorative cards inside. So people really wanted to collect them. And you could collect points that were called puddin' points.
Oh my God.
And you could send them in for various things.
Okay.
So you have to collected them. But sadly,
like,
they were
like Marlboro Miles.
1,000%. Yep. Yeah, because I don't think I ever collected any or sent them in, so I don't know what the return on that really was, but I can tell you that I ate a lot of these in that whatever.
Do you think
9,
they're
10
still in your
period.
digestive system?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's
Do you think that
probably-
explains like some of your stomach issues?
1,000%. It's coated with green dye that is never left.
Is this why you can't feel your feet?
Oh my God. You have dead feet
Because of Teenage Mutant Ninja
from the
Turtle
pudding
pies.
power.
22. Can you imagine what I ingested?
I think we got a lawsuit on your hands.
I think we do.
so.
Oh, you're right.
Like, listen, I have a Morton's neuroma, otherwise known as dead foot.
Otherwise known as Teenage Mutant Ninja
From the
Pie.
pudding.
Pie foot.
From that.
I need to park closer to the building. I got pie foot.
Did you ever have them TMNT pies? That's what I got. TMT foot. Yeah, I was a fan. And what's ironic about it is that wasn't a big Ninja Turtle fan.
You're just a fan of fine cuisine.
Yes, obviously.
I just love the shit out of those pies. No good reason.
Do you think if we were able to start a campaign to bring these back, that would make Fuzzy Memories just worthwhile?
Mhm.
Like it would just justify our existence?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean,
Should we start selling a Fuzzy Memories pudding pie?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
we
mean,
know my
we-
pie making skills are top notch.
We've probably got the ingredients.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
somewhere.
Tide Pods? Those got to be in there somewhere, right?
Oh yeah. That's how you get that really gloss.
I have a whole bunch of old paint
Crisco?
downstairs we
Oh,
could use.
perfect,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
Maybe we could bring like Haley in on this. Maybe even
Yes.
Travis. He seems to be
Oh,
a
yeah,
good
he's good at
chef.
making
Yeah, baking.
Yeah,
and
Travis could
Oh.
be the baker.
Perfect.
see what we can figure out. So anyway, sad walk down memory lane
Oh
for me.
man.
We're going to circle back to sharks now.
Oh yes.
Hey, you
As
promised
promised.
us. You
As
promised
promised.
us.
Yeah. 1987 was the year that Jaws the Revenge
Oh.
opened, which is the fourth movie in the Jaws series.
Okay.
Steven Spielberg had long since abandoned this.
It's like this is a travesty.
Yes, he wanted nothing to do with it. And it's kind of, it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen, right? And that's one of the reasons why I loved it. So Michael Caine is in it, who is in none of the other Jaws films, you know. And I read recently a reporter asked him what he thought of the movie, and he answered that it paid for a lovely home that he enjoys. That's what he thinks of Jaws the Revenge.
That's
Hey,
great.
that's-
hey,
yeah.
that's
Yep.
honest.
Good for
Okay.
you, man.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So the movie opens with a shark killing one of the sons of Roy Scheider's character, who was
Oh,
from the
boy.
original one.
Yeah.
Because it got personal.
Yes.
This time it's personal.
Yeah. And his, I think that was the
'Cause sharks
tagline
love
of it. I
sharks.
honestly think.
I guess it was.
His wife, who was the actress from the original movie that was just in it being like stressed out all the time
Sure.
because of the shark and her husband chasing the shark, you know. So she leaves Amity Island to go to the Caribbean
Oh.
to sort of stay with her other sons and kind of mourn, and I assume to get her groove back.
Obviously.
Like Stella
Obviously.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tay Diggs is going to be down there. Yeah.
So, but the shark follows her.
Of course it
Right.
does.
The great white shark apparently broke into her travel agent's office and found out where she was going and when, and then followed her like the creep that he is. I assume it's a man because a woman wouldn't do this. A woman would be way more passive aggressive and petty about it and would just spread rumors about her.
Obviously.
around Amity Island, you know.
Like, what kind of mileage are we talking? Where was Amity Island located?
Up, like I think it was off Long Island, like in New York. That's a
Wow.
long way
That's
to
a
go.
long
That's
trip.
commitment.
You have to be persistently
Yeah.
mad to hold a grudge like
Yeah.
that. Do you know how pissed off you have to keep yourself to
Uh-huh.
travel that far?
Yeah.
You remember the astronaut diaper lady that drove from Texas to Florida? Like, this is longer than Texas to Florida. She wore a diaper.
Oh, no.
Shark didn't wear a diaper?
Yeah, the shark was just
No.
pissing and shitting in the ocean.
Wow.
All the way down the East
Yes.
Coast.
Wow.
Yes.
Damn.
So she draws the obvious conclusion that the shark has a personal issue with her. So, I mean, who wouldn't? you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And she knows the only option is to kill the shark as opposed to, I don't know, just staying the fuck out of the ocean.
Because the shark isn't going to follow
Yeah.
you.
Right.
Oh no.
Despite what the DNR in Idaho says, the shark is not going to follow you inland. It's not.
What?
So Michael Caine's character wants to do it with her. So of course he's just like, yeah, I'll help you kill the shark.
Yeah, this seems good.
Yeah.
If this is
Yeah.
what it takes for sex, great.
Mhm.
I
I'll
tried
do
with
it.
the mannequin. It didn't
It
work.
didn't work.
I got to do Shark
I
Lady.
need to
Yeah.
do shark lady.
So, I mean, to be fair, it's not like they could just have called the shark police or whatever, because once she told them that this shark was following them, they'd be like, okay, ma'am. Right. We'll meet you at the ocean to get more information.
Yeah, well, we're on our way.
So, again, as I've made clear throughout most of my life, I'm not a shark person, but this shark did attack an inflatable banana. So I will give her or him or them, I don't know, credit for that because I hate bananas.
Yeah.
The movie is also set around Christmas, so technically it is a holiday film. Thank you.
Well, then we should all be watching it at the holidays. I believe.
So fuck Die Hard. We need to watch Jaws: The Return.
Yeah. If you can make the argument that Die Hard is a holiday film, you can make the argument that Jaws: The Revenge,
which I do.
is-
So I'm
is a
on
holiday
board.
movie. Yeah.
Also, I need to know more about Shark Police.
Mhm.
Like, at what point do they believe Shark Lady? That,
I think in like normal society we call them the Coast Guard.
No, I'm gonna stick with Shark.
No, I like Shark Police. Yeah, I think it should be Shark Police.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because who else is causing problems in the ocean? I mean, the orcas lately have gotten to be kind of, rightfully so, kind of shitheads, but,
Which is pretty great to watch.
Right,
yeah.
Did this do well at the box office?
Define well.
Yeah.
It was not Academy Award nominated like Mannequin
Uh,
was. I
No,
can say
no,
that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
expect that level, but I mean, people went.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, some people
They
saw
wanted
it.
to see
They didn't
Shark
ma-
Revenge.
They didn't make a Jaws 5, so I assume this was like
This was
they
the
didn't
end.
make that much
Yeah.
money.
Mhm.
They would have figured out a way to do another one.
Also, I want to circle back to the fact that it attacked a banana.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think we've mentioned on this here podcast your vendetta against bananas.
My deep, deep, deep hatred for bananas.
Does that stem from something or just
We talked about this on Broads and Books, didn't we? That
Yeah.
you had like a snack.
I think, it was like a little Debbie cake thing that I thought was a lemon, and I opened it up, and it turned out to be banana.
Oh,
and
that's
I was,
bad.
I was forced to finish eating it, and I didn't want to, and so I
Mhm.
think since then I have
trauma.
got it out for banana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. That's
I think there's been a time where I've had bananas on my counter and you said it was a hate crime. So that's the level we're talking about.
it's a hate crime.
Uh-huh. I have at the grocery store when my husband and I have been shopping, he has put them in the cart, and when he's not looking, I will put them on a shelf somewhere. I will take them back out of the cart.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't want my money going to that.
No, you don't need your money going to Big Banana.
No.
No.
If they would have put a banana in a frying pan and been like, this is your brain on drugs, I'd been like, I get it. No drugs for me.
Sold.
Done.
Well, my next one is from space.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Again?
We're going to space because I do love the space. And on June 18th, 1983, Sally Ride became the first American woman in space. And I say American because the Soviet Union was already sending women up there. As a kid and a young adult, Sally was really into tennis, and she was heading down the path of being like a pro tennis player. But I think when she was in college, she was like, I don't really see a future in this. So she instead pivoted and went to physics and went on to get a doctorate in physics.
Hell of a pivot.
As you do.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And in 1977, NASA placed an ad in newspapers looking for young scientists to serve as mission specialists on future space flights. So imagine you're opening the Des Moines Register.
I would think that was a scam.
Right?
We
There's
don't want
no
old
way.
scientists. We want young scientists.
That feels like something I would cut out and take to my parents, and they'd be like, "That's not real."
Right.
Yeah.
But apparently it was real because
Wow.
Sally Ride responded, and she was one of only 5 women selected for NASA's class of 78. And over the next 5 years, she went through a lot of training, including parachute jumping and water survival. And because she was an athlete, she did it all really well.
Mhm.
And because she was a smarty pants, she did all the science stuff really well. Then in 1983, she got placed on the space shuttle. And the best part of that is the media and their interview questions for her, which included...
You're going to bring makeup to space?
That's exactly one of the questions they asked. Are you going to bring makeup to space, and
No.
how? How are you going to manage your beauty routine while you're in space?
Fuck you. That's how I'm going to manage it.
They
Fuck you.
also asked, how is going to space going to affect your ability to reproduce?
Oh my God. That's atrocious.
Well, I'm barren, so thanks for bringing that up.
And Sally Ride responded with grace, but she did say, like, later, like, it's too bad this is such a big deal. It's too bad our society isn't further along, which is a kind way of saying, fuck all of you.
Yes.
Meanwhile, it wasn't just the media, it was NASA itself, because they tried to give her a makeup kit to take with her. And they also, which is now kind of a famous fact, gave her 100 tampons to last a week. To last the week. And they asked her if that was enough.
You're scientists. What in the world?
And her response was like, you can, like, half that and then half it again, and it'll still be too much. Like, we don't need, like, what?
Yeah. What are we
That's
doing?
even if she's on her period.
Yeah.
during
I was
the
gonna
one
say.
week.
I was gonna say it's too bad if she had to go to space on her period. Like that's just too bad.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate
that would suck
timing.
really bad.
Uh-huh.
But also the fact that, like, the scientists planned the weight of the space shuttle down to, like, the probably microgram, right? So
Yeah.
they planned on, like, here's 100 fucking tampons. We're going to include this in the weight calculations because that's the level of research we're willing to go to, but we won't really wonder if that's actually
Accurate.
what women
It's
need.
it's what it is very revealing as to why there wasn't a woman before that, because they were like, well, the tampons alone are going to throw off the weight of the whole thing. And then someone, probably a female, was like, but it's 1 week, so we might not even be dealing with that. And they're like, we don't know what space
We don't
does
know.
to a uterus.
That's
we do
right.
not know.
Yeah.
It can
And what
shut
about-
itself immediately.
What about the makeup? How much poundage are we talking with the makeup?
Mascara is heavy. I just don't know if we can do that. I just don't know.
So over her week in space,
Did she have her period?
that I don't know, but she had plenty of tampons if she did.
Goodness.
She was the flight engineer. She launched a couple communication satellites. She conducted a few experiments, and then the next year, 1984, she joined another shuttle crew. After that mission, she didn't go on anymore, but she was one of the investigators of the Challenger accident.
Oh.
She, had sort of a consulting role for NASA. And then also at the University of California, she served as director of the California Space Science Institute. And she led a bunch of efforts to build up STEM education for girls.
Mm.
Wow, that's cool.
And during that whole time, she was quiet about her personal life, but she was living with a lady.
What?
Oh.
She was
Hi-oh.
secretly a gay
No
icon.
wonder she didn't need makeup.
Everybody knows lesbians don't need it. She lived with Tam O'Shaughnessy for 27 years.
Tam?
Tam.
Tam's Bush?
That's right.
That's a shout out to Tammy Blackstone.
That's right. So not only was she a trailblazer in space, but down here on Earth, she was a gay icon.
Mm.
And
Really?
she died in 2012 from cancer, but
Aw.
quite a interesting life.
Yeah.
All right.
I can't believe 100 tampons. I mean, someone could have just asked, like, do you
Yeah.
need tampons? How many?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to if they have to factor it in or whatever for weight, I guess.
They'd
but-
also gone to the extent of making it a pack where they're all connected. So she was pulling out a tampon and it was just like almost a condom thing where it's just all connected and it just kept going and going and going. So they went to that level.
Did they think you just kept putting more in there?
I think they were doing that so that they didn't just go flying around the space shuttle, like they were connected.
Yeah.
But still, you went to the effort of doing that without asking, oh, is 100 right?
That would've-
Probably what happened is that the male astronaut that was going with her was like, listen, you make sure there's enough tampons on there because I swear to God, if she runs out and I have to hear about it or there's stuff floating around, I will have this shuttle as my own.
That would have been great, though, if they would have, like, called up there and they would have been on camera. There just would have been tampons floating around. I know, just been like, listen, you guys, you put 100 in here. We don't need them. The bin came open.
Yeah.
They're just up here.
Things are wild.
Uh-huh.
Well, this is kind of a weird one.
Mm.
Weirder than Popples?
It's weirder than
Oh,
Popples.
all right. I'm ready for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe not as, outwardly concerning as Popples, but it's just it's like one of those things that if you heard, you would think it was an urban myth, but this did actually happen in 1986. Otis elevators, I think we're all familiar. You've been in an elevator, right? You see the Otis sign. They were being sued by a woman from Michigan because they also produced escalators, and she fell on one and broke her nose at Walt Disney World.
Oh.
Uh-huh. So she sued Walt Disney World and Otis Elevator. Okay, fine. Court case is about to start. We need to bring the jury in and pick jury members. Where are these people? They're stuck in an elevator.
Oh.
On the way
to
the Florida courtroom for the case against Otis Elevator, they got caught and stuck in an Otis elevator for 20 minutes. It wasn't very long. The fire department came, got him out. Apparently, the judge in the case said this was happening frequently. They were old elevators that needed to be serviced. In a questionable move, the judge did not remove any of them from the case. He allowed them all to sit and get selected for jury. And in no surprise, they awarded the lady money and
Oh my God.
voted against Otis Elevator. So I would imagine at the time that there was a lot of discussion about appeal, because if you get caught in an elevator and then...
Well, it also seems like the judge shouldn't have said this happens all the time. That
Right.
seems
Yeah,
to be
that's-
tainting the
yeah.
jury pool.
Yeah, it was all very... And I don't know if he
Judge
said
had
that.
a grudge against Otis Elevator.
He might have. Yeah,
Mhm.
because he had... And I don't know if he just said that in an interview or he said it in the courtroom, but he mentioned that like 2 weeks prior, he had gotten a jury was caught in an elevator for a certain amount of time.
How many times did these people have to get caught in an elevator before they stop putting them in that elevator?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's a
might
good
be in
call.
a position
Yeah.
that it's stairs today.
Yeah.
Although maybe they put up a barrier and people were like, I don't see it. Whoa.
I'll just get on this
Yeah.
elevator.
Uh-huh.
But in my attempt to, first of all, I could find hardly anything out about the case about how the lady broke her nose. I was very interested to know why it was the escalator's fault.
Right.
Because I've seen some questionable behavior on escalators.
Sure.
So I'm not entirely sure that I can hold Otis responsible.
Right.
I
Because all
could
you
find
got to
a-
do on an escalator is just stand there. And if you're
Right.
doing anything but just stand there.
Even if
then-
it stops suddenly,
Right.
if you're just standing,
Mm-hmm.
there really shouldn't be.
Mhm.
So unless her foot got, there was
Yeah.
some kind of malfunction like that. And she was awarded $135,000, which,
Wow.
yeah. I happened upon Otis's website,
Oh.
and the first thing on their website is 5 steps to follow if you're stuck in an elevator, which felt like a public service that I had to bring because
That's weird that that's on like the homepage.
The
of their website.
homepage.
Their
I'm
website.
fascinated by
I
that.
did no digging.
So does that mean there's just a shit ton of these cases happening that we just don't know?
I think it's happening more than we realize.
And at some point they said, listen, you got to devote your homepage
you
to
need
rules
to just
of the road.
put the steps out, and that will help you with your liability.
Okay.
Step 1 is remain calm and do not attempt to leave the cab without first being cleared to do so.
Where would you go?
Right. That we're stuck.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
2, which is an interesting follow-up to 1. To request assistance, use the elevator's emergency button.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
3, keep your distance from the door at all times and do not try and force the doors open.
Whew.
4, remember that the elevator has air circulation openings, so there will be no limit on available air inside the cab.
So in other words, you will not suffocate unless you're there for like days.
Which is number 4. Again, on the homepage of Otis Elevator, you won't run out of air. You will be fine.
So calm down. Quit your
Mhm.
bitching.
Number 5, wait for qualified assistance to
Oh.
arrive.
Oh.
Only a qualified technician or the fire department, which is interesting that you put those in 2 different categories,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
should perform a rescue if one is deemed necessary.
Wow.
So do you have to ask for credentials? Like if someone's like, I'm here to help you, have
Show
to be
me
like,
your badge.
Are you a qualified technician? I am not interested. I have enough air and I know how to use the emergency button.
I am just fine. Thank you.
However, what these 5 things do not address is my biggest fear about being caught in an elevator,
Which is?
the bathroom situation.
I was going to say, establish a pee
Right?
corner.
Yes.
I want to be stuck in an elevator with Heath because he got it immediately.
Yeah, that should be number 1.
Yeah.
It's so true. If that happens, I'm going to have to pee immediately. Just from
Immediately.
anxiety.
Just from anxiety.
and then that's
Uh-huh.
all I'm going to be able to think about.
all I'm going to be able to think about. Air didn't even enter my mind.
No.
I never thought, wow, this cab's going to run out of air.
But it is, I mean, sometimes maybe the elevator's not quite totally even. Like there might be a little bit of,
Exactly.
So
a natural drainage situation.
So if you're in there like it's dark and you pick the wrong corner, it's just going to come at you.
Oh God. What sounds like a horror movie.
Immediately, I was thinking about this, like how I would traverse this, and I know what would happen because these people were only caught in there for 20 minutes. I know I would feel like that was forever.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So what would happen is that they would get the doors open. There would be the strongest odor of urine and be like, why did you all need a pee corner already? Like it's been 20 minutes.
I've got a nervous bladder.
Yeah. And I'd be like, well, that was all me.
I have been caught trapped in an elevator.
You
before.
have?
What?
Yeah. In our building, our home downtown, it's 4 floors and there's an elevator. And I came home one night after work and I had asked Michael to take out the recycling that morning and he did not do it.
Oh, no.
So this is Michael's fault.
This is so bad. And then you got caught in an elevator.
So I got the recycling. I went out to the elevator because it was down in the parking garage and I took it down there and I got back in the elevator and I was coming back up and everything went dark and it stopped moving.
And you were alone.
I was alone. Luckily I had my phone with me.
Oh my God.
And so I texted Michael and I was like, I told him what was happening, And of course at the same time I'm like doing updates on Facebook. I'm like, I'm trapped in the elevator. And it wasn't very long. It was not very long that I was trapped in there. But when they got me out, I was about 1.5 feet from our floor.
What?
Like, had I gone like 60 seconds earlier, I would have been up and the door would have been open when the power went out. Because the power went out all in a big section of downtown.
Oh.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was the takeaway here was that had Michael done what I asked him to.
God damn it, Michael.
I figured that's where you were going when you said, yeah.
But also good on you for taking your phone. This means I have to take my phone everywhere I go.
I'm really sorry that I brought up trauma for you today. I didn't intend to. I brought Popples right in your face and then said, hey, remember when you caught in an elevator? Relive that.
And also it feels like that's what this show has become, is reliving our trauma in front of each other and everyone that's listening.
Everyone that's listening.
Well, it was funny. I remember Michael saying that he came home and he walked into the house.
Yeah.
And I had said something on the counter, so he knew I had been home from work, but he didn't know where I was. So he knew something was
alarming.
Weird.
Yeah.
Oh, and the whole time he's like, shit, I'm going to get so much shit for this recycling.
That's right. He was like, this is all my fault. Yeah. My dear love is stuck in the elevator because I didn't take the recycling. I'm going to file this away and remember to always take it out.
I'm not sure that was his takeaway. But
okay. All right. That sounds right. Knowing Michael.
That tracks. Yep.
Well, kind of related to that in a weird way.
Ooh.
Nice.
Is on
I like where we're going with this.
on March 27th, 1998, the FDA approved the use of the drug Viagra.
Oh, well, I was just going to say March 27th, Mariah Carey's birthday.
On Mariah Carey's birthday, they approved the use of the drug Viagra, an oral medication that treated impotence. The best part about this is that this was a sildenafil, something like that, is the chemical name for Viagra. And it's a compound that was originally used and studied to treat hypertension, high blood pressure, and a form of cardiovascular disease. But chemists at the company at Pfizer found that while the drug didn't have much effect on the angina or the cardiovascular, it could induce erections, typically within 30 to 60 minutes.
So they're just like testing this in a lab and people just keep getting boners. And so they're like, oh, wait.
God.
So Viagra is a mistake.
Yes, it's a mistake because there were so many fucking boners in the lab.
There has to be a harassment suit attached to this. There has to be a lady that was working there that was like, this isn't funny, guys. I'm done. I am done with the boners. We're studying hypertension. So, sorry, but I also have a boner.
And so for a while, I worked at Northwestern Med School, and we did like adverse event forms. So anytime you do a study, a clinical trial study, they have to report anything, like even headaches, whatever, side effects that come from the drugs. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it was real creepy. There were some drugs they were doing that induced like suicide. It was bad. But I kept thinking as I was reading this, like, there must have been so many adverse event reports of, like, this guy got a boner, and this guy got a boner.
And it didn't go away.
So after just a lab full of boners, they realized the economic opportunity in this.
Yeah.
So they decided to market the drug for impotence. It was patented in 1996, and 2 years later, which is such a short time.
That's really quick.
Compared to other drugs, it was approved for the FDA for use in treating erectile dysfunction, which was a name they came up with for this drug.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like there's a Wolf of Wall Street story here. Like
Right?
some guy worked in the lab and took a few pills and gave them to his buddies at a
Okay.
party, and they were like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah. It was a bunch of finance bros that were like,
Yes.
you could make so much money from this.
A boner lasted for 6 hours.
So Viagra's massive success was pretty much instantaneous. In the first year alone, the pills themselves, which are $8 to $10 each, it yielded about $1 billion in sales. And the whole impact was enormous too, because this was one of the first drugs that did like TV ads. Up to this point, there had been nothing like that. This was available by prescription only, but they marketed on television and included, at one point, ex-presidential candidate Bob Dole in his mid-70s as a spokesperson.
See, no, I've always considered Bob Dole a boner shrinker.
Right?
So
My thought was like, again, what was the marketing meeting? And it's like, you know what we need? We need Bob Dole. We need Bob Dole to come on in and help us sell these penile
I
drugs.
went the other way.
Oh.
I went, guys, we have to have a meeting again. Bob Dole called again. And he is
really
begging to be in this commercial. Begging. And I don't know what we're going to do. Like, we're getting a lot of pressure from White House to include it because they're getting letters from him. We're getting pressure from upstairs. I don't know. I think we have to write a commercial with Bob Dole in it.
He's become an evangelical supporter of this. He cannot believe the erections that he gets when he takes this, and he
Me
needs
neither.
to tell the
Can't
world.
believe I don't believe in Bob Dole's erections.
The problem is we all have to sign a form that we're okay with having him having a boner the whole time he's here. Because it really works.
Because now he just takes it around the clock.
Yeah.
It's just, a constant thing.
I mean, for marketing, though, certainly, if you want a celebrity spokesperson, you're going to have a tough time finding someone that's willing to go on TV and be like, I have to take this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and at the time they were primarily targeting older men. Now it's like the numbers have gone down because, it's sort of out there everywhere. But what's interesting is that they've never fully studied the long-term effects of Viagra because of that short 2-year time period. They're like, let's get this fucking out. They never really did the longitudinal studies or anything to show like,
and
are we good
initially,
with
a lot
this?
of the people that took it at first are older,
Exactly.
So they weren't around for that much longer.
Exactly,
afterwards,
yeah.
probably.
But yeah, it is still a blockbuster drug. And meanwhile,
Make it a
nothing for
blockbuster
women.
night.
Nothing for women.
You go through that period where things are bad down there, but we don't care.
We don't care about that. Yeah.
Because as long as there's a boner, you're good.
Yes. Because, the main thing here, was impotence was really hurting men's feelings of masculinity.
Right.
So we got to get a drug.
Meanwhile, we got cysts popping, and they're like, you'll be okay.
You'll be fine. It's probably fine.
Oh,
in
it
your life.
exploded. Sorry. Oh,
bummer.
shoot.
Oh,
we were
you're
going to go in and take
bleeding,
it out.
profusely?
But...
It's fine.
Oh, wow. That's
But can your
weird.
husband get a boner? Because
Yeah.
that's what really matters.
The good news is studies really show that it's okay to have sex during your period as long as you're okay with it. I'm like, what?
And
No.
why shouldn't you be okay? I mean, aren't you a cool girl? You should be okay with it.
You should be
so
okay with it. I know you're in immense pain, but it's fine.
I mean, come on, just
It's
take some
severe.
Advil.
Everyone
It's
has
fine.
one. Everyone
Everyone
has
has
You're not
one.
special. You are not fucking special.
Stop being hysterical.
Yeah.
We're back.
You're
Sorry,
getting
guys.
worked up.
Yeah, no, just so the listeners know, I left the room and ran a couple errands during that, and now I'm back.
And that went on for a few minutes, and I trimmed it down.
Yeah. We can cut the whole thing if you want. It just felt right. It just felt right.
Aaron and I just locked eyes, and we got to do this. We got to do this right
I
now.
could do it right now.
It had to be said.
Yeah.
Because trust me, menopausal women are super concerned about your boners.
Oh,
let
God.
me tell
We
you.
can't think of anything else besides their boners.
Yeah.
And your feelings of masculinity. It's fine. It's good.
Like, what? Oh,
yeah.
no.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Your
no.
poor ego. It hurts. Oh, bummer.
That sucks.
Oh,
That
meanwhile, I'm
really
bleeding through
sucks.
my clothes all the time. It's fine.
It's fine.
Anyway.
Also, I can't hear you because, believe it or not, that's a menopause symptom. Is that I'm losing my hearing.
Really?
But what? You lost your boner?
Yeah. My eyes hurt because that's another symptom,
Yeah.
but it's fine.
Wait,
The five
what?
senses.
Get out of here. You can't
No.
hear and see when you go through menopause?
Get out of here.
Your body just breaks down.
It just starts shutting
but we got to
down.
focus on the boners, Heath. We got to focus on them.
Can you hear and see better when you are having your period?
That's a good question. We got to test that.
We do need to test
Although
that.
I think I'm at the tail end of my period. So now, what now?
I'll test it.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know. When that's happening, there's a lot of things happening, and
Yeah,
I
that's
might
true.
forget.
Your whole body is just like abort. Just
Yeah,
everything.
it's
Get
a
it.
big
Fire sale. Get
Just
it
an
out.
alarm going the whole time. I'm like if I was on the Truman Show, I would just show up as a siren just
Yeah,
going
yeah,
off. Oh shit, the siren's back. Get her out of frame.
Meanwhile, Tina the Torsa is just overheating like a stone cold bitch.
As they're wont to do.
Viagra.
Fuck you, Viagra. Okay.
How about we let the man speak?
Yeah,
first?
Well-
poor
No,
Heath. Taking all the ire of all everything. Just accept
if you were a
it.
straight man, you'd probably be murdered by now.
Well,
but you're good.
I'm proud to serve. Jack Frost
Oh,
is
No.
an absolutely bonkers movie from
This is a wonderful twist.
1998.
It is a
Do you think
weird
Jack Frost-
movie.
Uh-huh. It stars Michael Keaton as Jack, a father and musician from Colorado who spent most of his life chasing after his big break, and in doing so, he's neglected his wife and son.
Oh, damn it.
Like a man.
Like a man.
One of the days when he's not busy being a huge disappointment, Jack builds a snowman with his son Charlie. And when they're done, Jack gives Charlie a harmonica and tells him that it's a magical harmonica that Jack will always be able to hear no matter where Charlie is when he plays it. So I guess being an unreliable isn't enough for Jack. He makes up bullshit like this to tell his kid too.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah,
Just going to
It's-
up the unreliability.
Yeah. But
What
here's
a dick.
here's a dumb story, you little moron.
Yeah, get out of my way. Here,
I gotta
have
go
a
play my music.
harmonica.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Soon after, Jack promises to attend Charlie's hockey game, but backs out at the last minute to record what he believes will be his first big hit song.
Oh, boy.
To make it up to his wife and son, he agrees to take them on a trip to the mountains, but then bails on that when he lands a gig that he thinks will make or break his career. So he seems to sort of believe his own hype, and I'm not sure anybody else does. But on his way to the gig, Jack realizes that he's a total shithead and decides to blow off the gig to spend time with his family, because I guess disappointing his family wasn't enough, and he wanted to make sure that he disappointed his band too.
He's
I
got to
guess.
fuck everyone over.
Yeah.
Got to get them all
Yep.
in there. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, you're really putting yourself in no-win situations
Yeah.
that you created.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
let's be clear.
But bad news for Jack, because on his way back to meet his family for their trip, he gets in a car accident and dies.
Bummer.
That's
Yeah.
a risk you take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a risk you take.
When you're a shithead, that's what
Mhm.
happens,
Yeah.
apparently.
So a year later, Charlie makes another snowman and tries to make it look as much like his dad as possible, which is sweet and sad and probably unhealthy. And then Charlie
Impossible.
plays the harmonica his dad gave him, and lo and behold,
Wait,
Jack's
did
spirit.
you say impossible? An impossible idiot. You can't make that snowman look like your dad. Amy played the neighbor.
That snowman doesn't look like Michael Keaton.
That's impossible.
Apparently, well, maybe Charlie was like a snow sculptor, like,
Maybe, you're
on the
right.
side.
Like a chainsaw sculptor.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
That's impossible.
I call bullshit.
I like to shit on kids' dreams. It's fine. Yeah. Anyway, so he plays a harmonica.
Yeah, Charlie plays the harmonica. His dad
Dead
gave him.
dad?
Lo and behold, Jack's spirit takes over the body of the snowman while Charlie is asleep.
That's not impossible. That's
Nope.
fine.
That's-
It's fine.
You're okay with that plot twist?
Very plausible.
Okay.
That makes sense.
When the haunted snowman tells Charlie that he's his father,
Oh,
Charlie
God.
doesn't believe him at first.
It's
you know?
good.
Yeah,
It's good,
that's
kid.
smart.
Yeah.
Stinks.
But then when the haunted snowman Jack uses his secret nickname for Charlie, which is Charlie Boy, and maybe the first and worst two-factor authentication in history. Charlie then he's like, "Oh, yep, you're my dad." Now he believes him.
Because adding
Charlie
boy to
boy.
anything is super unique.
So Jack takes this opportunity to teach Charlie all the life lessons that he didn't teach him when he was alive because he was busy failing at being a musician. Unfortunately for Jack, he realizes that his time is limited when global warming shows up and he gets all melty.
This is a terrible movie.
Uh-huh. So before he melts, Jack finally shows up at one of Charlie's hockey games, and then they head off to the mountains where it's colder.
So this...
Yeah, the snowman attended a hockey game.
Yeah. Aren't you glad you used Impossible on the snowman making? Aren't you glad you used it then?
And no one's like, wait, there's a snowman?
Amy is unraveling, you guys.
Okay, go on.
And after the hockey game, they head off to the mountains where it's colder, which I think is technically considered kidnapping because Jack's widow / Charlie's mom didn't know that they were going. So the snowman
It's
just
taking your
takes
kid
the
across
kid.
state lines.
Yeah.
That's
And
not
who's
good.
going to listen to you when you say a snowman kidnapped your kid?
Mhm.
You're in a cycle.
Well, and then after they arrive, then Jack calls the wife and tells her that where they are, and she seems way cooler with getting a phone call from a deceased spouse than I would be. Like I wouldn't. I would. Yeah. I would be upset.
I don't
Mhm.
know. But the fact that he's a snowman too. Sorry.
Did he reveal that in the phone call? Did he say, hey, I'm a snowman and I took our son? Or just...
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay. So he's saving that for in person.
Good.
So she heads to the mountains and gets there just about the same time that Jack's snowman shell is melting, and he heads back to purgatory or wherever it is that one goes to when the snowman they're inhabiting melts. And I can only assume Charlie spends the rest of his life trying to cope with this hugely traumatic experience that he just lived through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
So he
the
lost
end?
his dad twice.
Yeah. I mean, had the movie been more successful, they would have made another one. And they would have figured out a different way to get him to come back. But...
Penguin.
The fuck?
I still, my favorite thing of that whole time was that you went impossible on making the snowman. And we were going to move to snowman at hockey games, calling people. You know, we just moved into crazy territory.
Yep. I just really want to be at that hockey game where someone's like, wait, there's a snowman over there. He's talking.
I want to be at the game watching the person that does realize it and saying it, watch everyone else be like, yeah, that's
Duh.
Charlie's dad. He's come back to be a better dad.
Jack Frost, idiot.
You
Try
don't
to
like
keep up,
family?
Pam.
Yeah.
Pam, don't you know global warming? Come on.
Yeah.
You're such a dumb bitch, Pam.
God, you're always ruining everything.
Wow. You know, I
I
didn't
know what Amy's doing this afternoon. She's going to watch Jack Frost.
She obviously is going to
I
watch
gotta
Jack.
watch this masterpiece and see how it went down. But basically, I gotta see if the snowman looked like Michael Keaton or not. Because that's what I call bullshit on.
I'm going to take you to a little feature called Gem and the Holograms.
I didn't know that was this year.
Yeah, I was...
I've got a lot to say about this, and it's all right here.
Oh no! I was obsessed with Gem and the holograms.
Yes.
I had a Barbie, a Gem, or a doll, whatever that was at some point. But if you're unaware, which
How dare
how
you?
could you be?
Yeah.
Jerica Benton is the owner and manager of Starlight Music. She's also known as Gem, Gem and the Holograms.
Forgot that her name was Jerica.
Yeah. Her dad invented Synergy, which is a computer that was capable of creating audiovisual technology known as the holograms.
What?
And she could project the hologram of Gem onto herself with the help of her earrings.
Mm-hmm.
So in case you're wondering if this was a master of disguise, I went ahead and brought a visual aid of Gem as a hologram and Gem as Jerica. Can see some similarities.
I would have not have recognized at all.
Mm-mm.
What I love, though, is also the outfit's basically the same.
The same
Yeah,
thing.
it's the same.
Yeah.
It's so much the same. But essentially, hijinks ensue in the show. And basically what she's trying to do is keep other bands at bay from getting the technology and also caring for the 12 foster girls that were also in her care.
What?
She had so many jobs.
Yeah.
She was running a music label.
Mhm.
She was the lead singer of a rock band. She was running an orphanage.
Yeah.
What?
12
forgot
foster
that.
girls called the Starlight Girls. That No, I completely blanked out on this part too. When I read it in the research, I was like, wait, what?
Uh-huh.
Were
And
they
then I
child labor?
started remembering the episodes with the girls, but yeah.
What the hell?
So they did go on to release a 2015 like live action movie
Mhm.
version, which is trash.
Okay. I was
don't.
gonna assume.
Just
yeah.
don't.
Uh-huh.
I credit this. I loved this show, and I credited it with really pushing forward the idea that accessories are an incredibly important part of an outfit.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And that you can have multiple jobs. You can be in a band, you can fight crime, and you can have foster kids.
You can have it all.
You can have it all if you have hologram technology.
You
through
gotta
your
have the
earrings.
tech. Gotta have the tech.
Which were like the biggest plasticky earrings. Like they were like lightning bolts, but like triple the size of what they were. They were very. I remember that in on
so
the
it's not
doll.
like spy gear. Like these are
No.
very prominent.
They're
earrings.
very prominent. Like
Yeah. And Jericho always wore them too. Like these are the
Okay.
only two people that had the same earrings, and no one ever really picked up on.
No
It's a
one
very Superman Clark
gonna
Kent
say,
glasses
it feels
thing.
very-
yeah,
Yeah.
very. And I remember the doll came with the earrings. And I remember being really upset that the earrings didn't come out of the like I couldn't get them out of her ears.
Were you trying to put them on yourself?
I probably
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think I thought I could make other Barbies into Gem. You know, let's check the hologram.
I mean, the technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we couldn't.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
But I watched this show. I loved this show. It's got roots in Japanese animation. That's the main people that did it, which makes a lot of sense
Wow.
now when you look at the style. I mean, I wouldn't have had any knowledge of that then, but fascinating. And they sang, and I was obsessed. Everything about it.
I'm trying to remember the theme song.
Their whole vibe too was
Truly outrageous. truly outrageous.
Lyrical genius.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
knew you wouldn't let me down.
No, because I couldn't tell you what it was. What else? Did you find anything else?
Yeah, like one of the things, so the band, the Holograms, so it was Jericho and her sister Kimber, and then Aja and Shayna, who were foster kids that Jericho's dad adopted. So they all grew up together. And then in later seasons, Rhea was hired as the drummer. So there was all of them. And then she had her boyfriend, Rio Pacheco.
Wait, say that again.
Rio Pacheco. That was his name. And when you think about it, so Rio was dating Jericho, right? But he also had the hots for Jem. So Jem and Jericho are the same person. So Jericho's very well aware that Rio is stepping out on her with her. He just doesn't get that it's a different person or that it's the same person.
Oh my God.
So there was this whole thing of just like they don't really ever acknowledge it, but I mean, like they were sort of signing off on like this guy two-timing her.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That was kind of the whole
And
thing.
she was fine with it.
Yeah.
She's like, haha, joke's on you.
So-
Do you think I have the same moves in bed?
Also, I wear the same clothes, dummy.
I mean,
So instead, she was running a music label.
Okay.
She was running an orphanage. She was the lead singer of a rock band.
Okay.
She had 2 different relationships going at the same time.
Yep.
and she was fighting crime.
Yes, she was fighting crime, and she
so much work.
So much work.
and they were fighting for their lives, really, because the Misfits,
Yeah.
the rival band,
Mm-hmm.
were after them all the time and like literally trying to murder them on several occasions.
Yes. How Jem isn't on a quarter, I'll never understand.
Yeah.
I mean,
She's a
doing the most.
feminist icon.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yeah.
I've already said it this episode, but again, we watch so many of the same shows.
Yeah.
Yes.
The fact that we both landed on Jem and the holograms for 1985 is just the best.
It's fantastic.
I did watch the whole thing. I have it on DVD. I have all of it on DVD.
You do
Oh
not.
my God.
What?
Wait, so how many seasons was that? How much was it?
There was only 3 seasons. It seemed like it went on further.
Yeah.
But there was only 3. And again, it speaks to like what we're willing to tolerate as children. Because there was
Yeah.
only like 30 episodes in a season. So they'd play it every day after school. So
Yes.
like in 6 weeks, they're through it and they just start over.
Uh-huh.
And I'd be like, okay.
Great.
I'm here for it. I'll watch it again
So
and again.
You'd watch, it'd be on for like, the whole year. You'd watch every episode 7 times when it would air and you didn't care,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I know
Great show.
Michael watched some of it with me when I rewatched it. And his favorite song from the show and in life is called Taking a Train by Jim and the Holograms. And it goes like this.
Okay.
Taking a train, taking a train, taking a train. And that's why he loves it.
To be clear, listeners, all the visuals are going to be on our social as is taking the train.
Yep.
Ready for more? Head over to Patreon to hear part 2. That's at patreon.com/Broads and Books Productions. Fuzzy Memories is a Broads and Books production. It's hosted by Heath Smith, Aaron Johnston, and Amy Lee Lillard. Big thanks to our supporters on Patreon, especially those at the Make Me Famous level, including Haley Scarpino, Nick Thornton, Daniela Barzalo, Matthew Serbach, and Last Name Greatest.